Good afternoon. It's Dawn Clevisol coming to you through the internet, of course. You might be in my Facebook group hearing this, or you could be on my YouTube channel. I'm broadcasting to both right now. I wanted to jump in. I know that this time of year, at the beginning of the year, some people are finding themselves super motivated, which is amazing. But other people coming off a break, especially those who I find who are having, their kids are home, they're having to kind of transition back into being on the schedule of maybe the school or maybe they're homeschooling. You're trying to work and get everything done. It can be really hard to stay motivated, especially motivated to maybe do your work, just everything, all of the balls, right, that we have in the air. Personally, this year I find myself kind of caught between, I think they call it the sandwich generation. So we had our kids a little bit later. My mom is a little bit older, and so now I'm taking care of my kids, which includes homeschooling them, and also taking care of my mom, who's needing extra care at this phase in her life. So it's been really interesting calendar, and I do find myself sometimes on the work side of things, finding myself a little less motivated at times. So I wanted to share with you the 5 tips that I use to keep myself motivated, and hopefully this is something that will help you as well. First thing I do when I'm feeling like I just cannot get myself to do anything, is to make a list. Because sometimes you have so much going on in your head, you got so many things going on. You need that list so that you can look at it, so you can prioritize it, and then you can choose something small that you can complete quickly. But the other thing is, when you look at the list, once you've written it out, you may find that some of the things that were weighing on you that you feel like are things that you have to get done are things that you can put off. Sorry if my camera's shaking a little bit. Okay. Are things that you can put off. You don't have to do them right away. And so it's really nice to have a list to look at, so you can do that. The other thing about making that list is you can choose something that's going to be a quick win for you, something that's going to be something simple to do, but also that's going to feel good, like you really got something marked off your list. That's going to help you stay motivated because it puts you in that win mode, right? So you have that win, and then maybe you can look at your list and pick something else that maybe was feeling a little harder for you to do that you can just jump into now that you've had that feeling of that win. Sometimes that's really motivating to get me back on track. The other thing is to reward yourself for your progress. I think that as a mom, I'm really bad at doing this. You've got to reward yourself as you progress, because that's what's going to keep you from feeling burnt out, from feeling like, why am I doing all this? What is the point, right? You have to look back to where you started. And it doesn't have to be, 5 years ago, whatever. It should be something closer. But you want to look back to where you started and celebrate those small wins by rewarding yourself for sticking to it, for doing a good job. You can even make it, hey, if I get this project off my list today, I'll reward myself. It has to be something that's going to take you out of your own head. Something that's because when we're in there, we're thinking, I got this to do, got this to do. I really feel like a lot of the motivation issues are surrounded by, like I said, this huge list of things that you have to do. So if you reward yourself and you're really looking at what you've accomplished, then you're not going to constantly feel like I can reward myself when this happens. Because the same thing when we talk about profit and profit first. Profit is not an event. It doesn't happen someday. It has to happen the whole time. The same things with rewarding yourself. You have to reward yourself as you go along, and that will help keep you motivated when you do that. 3 is to take a break from social media. It might be a no-brainer to you, or you might be saying, oh my gosh, I can't do that. That's what my work is. You might need a break. The reason I say this is it's so easy to compare yourself, and it's so easy to add things to your to-do list because you're thinking, so-and-so's doing this, so-and-so's doing that, and you may not even be conscious that you're doing this. I joined, I think you guys might be familiar with it. It was a Women Helping Women group a few months ago as I think they call it a standout member. So I joined as a standout member because I thought, well, that's cool. It's a cool program. So for like $97 a month, you get to broadcast in the Facebook group, like do a live once a week. It's a really awesome opportunity, right, to do that. But I found myself really pulled away, like my focus was really taken away from my business because I kept seeing other people's videos that popped up. Oh, what are they doing? Oh, how many people came to their thing? What are they offering? Should I change the way I'm offering things? Like, it just, like, for me personally, it wasn't a good fit at that time. I'm definitely going to go back to using their program once I'm ready to do that. But at the stage that I was in when I signed up for that, it was just adding more to my to-do list in my mind because I was comparing myself to what everyone else was doing. So take a social media break. That's something that will help you. And these are, if I suggest a break, I'm not suggesting like walk away for a week or two. It's just a small break enough. It could just be that day to get you back to focusing on what your priorities are and what your goals are. Again, go back to that list. Take that social media break, go back to that list, prioritize, stay off of it. Do not look at it. Do not look at anything that other people are doing, so you can focus on your dreams, your desires, and the things that you want to do, which may be completely different than what someone else is doing, even if they're in your same field. Number 4 is to listen to motivational podcasts or YouTube videos. I love doing this. It gets me out of my headspace. It's an awesome way to release any negative thoughts or any circular thinking that's happening inside my head. I put on YouTube usually. I'm listening to it. That's why I said listening to YouTube. I don't usually watch the video because I'm working on something else. So I put it on my computer in the background and I'm listening to Oprah. I'm listening to Abraham Hicks, listening to whoever's going to get me into the frame of mind that I'm not focusing on the things that were stressing me out and making me be not motivated in the first place. So find a couple of people that you really resonate with. I think Brene Brown's one of the other ones that's really great. If you haven't found her, she's amazing. So do that to get yourself out of that mode where your thoughts are the ones that are keeping you from being motivated. Number 5, realize that you may need a break. You may need to just completely walk away from doing your work for that day. Or it could just be like, just whatever works for you. But don't make it so short that it doesn't really break that feeling of not being motivated. It has to be long enough that you really feel like you got a break. In fact, I think I was listening to Matthew McConaughey the other day, which was really funny because I wouldn't necessarily think of him as a motivational speaker, but one of the YouTube videos that I was watching ended and he came on and he was talking to somebody and he said that this actually happened when he was first starting out in his career. He had gone out and he was staying with a producer or something in LA. It was getting where he felt like maybe my money's not going to be lasting as long as I want. He's like, hey guy, you got to get me jobs. You got to get me jobs. And the guy was like, you stink. You reek of desperation. You're not going to get anything. It's not going to happen. And so he and his friends ended up going, I think it was to Europe and traveling and doing all this and just kind of forgetting about what needed to be done. Now, I'm not saying you should go to Europe. I mean, if you have the money to do that, probably with COVID, we can't do that anyway. But it could be as easy if you're working from home, you got the kids, you got everyone in your space. It could just be as easy as taking a walk, going for a drive, sitting in your car, just something that takes you out of your normal day-to-day so that you can relax, so that you can find your motivation again, so you can listen to yourself. That's a huge thing for me. I end up staying up later than everyone else in the family because I find in the evening when I sit down, once the house is quiet, that's when all of my thoughts start coming. That's when all of my big ideas happen. So I really feel like sometimes you just need to give yourself that break, permission to walk away, to go do something fun. Like I said, even if it's just getting out of the house for a little while, I have had my best ideas while taking those breaks, and I want you to have those kind of results too. So let me recap real quick, and then I will tell you about one thing that we're doing next week, and I want you to hear about, and I'll let you go. So the 5 tips that I use to keep myself motivated: make a list, reward myself, take a social media break, listen to motivational podcasts or YouTube videos, and realize you may just need to walk away, and that's okay. You're allowed to do that. All right, so I want you to join me if you are a business that has a responsibility to issue 1099s to the people that have worked in service for you, or if you have rent payments that you paid out, anything like that. I want you to join me next week. I'm going to be talking about what does the 1099 process look like? What do you need to know? What forms do you need? What information do you need from them? Those kind of things from January 12th to 14th. That is the 1099 ready before January 31st challenge. I would love to have you join me so that we can get you on the right track and make sure that you are meeting that obligation that you have because whether you know it or not, you have to have your 1099s out to your people on the 31st. That is the date that they need to be mailed by. It's also the date they need to be electronically filed. So if you have any questions about 1099s, that's something that is happening outside of my regular Facebook groups. You do need to click on the link that's in the header of really any of my Facebook groups. I think right now, you click on that, there's a link that will take you to the registration page. And from there, that gives you access to the group that we will actually be having this conversation in. Because I know, out of 850 people that are currently in the Facebook group, they don't all want to hear about 1099s. But if that is you, go ahead and register for that. Also, if you have any questions about Profit First, about your accounting, about getting yourself ready as this new year is started, please feel free to schedule a discovery call with me. I've updated all of the links in the description page for the Facebook group. So you can go in there. There's 3 different kinds of discovery calls that you can schedule. And so you can check those out there. If you have any questions, as usual, ask them wherever you find me on the internet, and I will get an answer back to you, even if it's just a quick video for you so that you can get back to your day and back to work. So take care. Thank you for being with me today. Again, it's Dawn Clevisall. Have a wonderful day.